Welcome to Tumbleweed Radio. It's a podcast from the World Journal. I'm Connor Orr. And this week, if you can believe it, I'm going to talk about the 2020 presidential election. Today is November 6th, 3 days after Election Day. And if there's only one thing that this election has shown for sure, it's that this country is incredibly divided. In many states, especially swing states, the margin between votes for Trump and votes for Biden is very small. Although Colorado and New Mexico both ultimately went blue, Huerfano, Los Animas, and Colfax counties all voted predominantly to re-elect President Donald Trump. Passions are heated. As of right now, Joe Biden holds a significant lead in electoral votes and he seems poised to take the presidency. But the Trump campaign is declaring fraud and has sued unsuccessfully to halt the count in several key states. President Trump has even gone so far as to claim that he did win the election, and that he won by a landslide if you only count the legal votes.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Of course, the votes that President Trump considers illegal are the mail-in votes, of which there were record numbers this year due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Liberals have a high degree of trust in the security of the mail-in ballot counting and dismiss claims to the contrary. They point to the reliable historical tendency for mail-in ballots to lean Democrat, a phenomenon which has come to be known as the blue shift, as evidence that the majority of mail-in ballots voting Joe Biden is nothing out of the ordinary. Plus, Biden spent months encouraging citizens to vote by mail, while Trump did the exact opposite. Conservatives nonetheless suspect foul play of the highest order. Memes are circulating all across the internet suggesting that dead people's votes are being counted, that votes are being counted twice, and there are even videos circulating that appear to show poll workers actually filling in ballots themselves. These claims are completely unsubstantiated and should not be taken seriously without some really hard evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, as the aphorism goes. Regardless, both political parties are mighty sure of themselves right now, which is ominous and suggests that at the very least, we will have a drawn-out and complex litigation of this decision over the coming weeks. However this whole situation is resolved, I think it is of the utmost importance right now to remember that the American people are still one nation, and that most of us have a lot more in common than you might think. The rhetoric today on both sides of the political debate has become so polarized, and the designations of liberal and conservative have become wildly tainted by scandal and stereotype. The problem with the two-party political system is that, in contentious elections like this one, folks have no choice but to vote for the person who represents their key issues, even if they may have serious qualms with the person otherwise. This leads to situations like the one we have today, where it's not just the nation that is divided, it's communities and families that are being divided. It's not philosophical ideas anymore, it's people. All across this country there are families which have been seriously wounded by national politics. How do you talk to your relatives about anything these days when you land on opposite sides of third-rail issues like abortion, immigration, or even Donald Trump? So I want to remember that each of us is an individual first, that we're not just defined by our politics. I love and respect my family for a great many reasons, even though we disagree about politics on some things. And the same goes for my whole community, and for my whole country. We're all in this together, and truly, none of us want to go to war with each other. Well, actually, some folks do. Over the last few years, there really has been an uptick in political extremism. There are people on both far sides of the political spectrum who specifically want to see this country erupt in warfare, with various motives. I think that we could all use a vacation from politics, spend some time warm and relaxed and reconnecting with each other, but that's just not going to happen. There's too much work to do. So next week, I'm going to be in serious mode again as I dive into the world of political extremism. I'm going to talk about the Ku Klux Klan, like I said last week, but I'm also going to talk about modern political radicals like the Proud Boys, Boogaloo, and Antifa. These groups are unique to the 21st century, but they're drawing from old traditions. Over the years, scientists have found out a lot about the causes of radicalization, and from these findings we can draw conclusions about how to prevent its increase and maybe how to heal our communities. Thanks for listening to Tumbleweed Radio from the World Journal. That's the show this week, folks. We'll have more next week. Read the World Journal. Stay safe. Have a good time. Try to relax. It's an election. It's not the end of the world. All right.